Let's look back a little bit, Joe, on the Houston game before we look ahead. And I think listening to you a little bit, and even the Texans head coach, D'Amico Ryans, when he did his podcast on Texans Voice this week, I feel like everywhere I'm listening, it's the Bills' game plan, especially protection-wise for Josh Allen, was questionable, if I'm being kind.
Well, yeah, I mean, the big talk coming out of that game is the Bills and their use of five-man protections, which is just your offensive linemen. That means there's no help from running backs and tight ends. And look, that's what the Bills do. They've been doing it for a while. So it's not like they showed up in Houston and said five-man protection. This is what they've done. They were number one by like 7% last year in five-man protection usage, and I think they're right towards the top again this year. And, the concern here is that it highlights some of the lack of evolvement, the lack of ability to adjust. And, anybody that was watching that game knew early on that, unfortunately, Dawkins and Brown weren't able to get it done at tackle, right? I think they went into this game and said, hey, we're good at tackle. You're good on the edge. Let's find out who can get it done, right? And I didn't think the Bills would shut down Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, right? But you'd expect it to be a little bit more of a back and forth thing as opposed to really one-sided with that Houston pass rush. And so, all right, you went in there, you thought you'd continue to use your five-man protections, which, again, there's a good part of that. It allows you to maximize your eligible receivers. You only get 5 eligible receivers. Well, if you keep them in the block, well, then they're not on the menu for Josh Allen to throw the football to. So I'm sure they wanted to preserve that. But the fact that it was pretty obvious on both sides, not even just Spencer Brown and him kind of playing through a shoulder, and then for them to not help at all, right, not to give chippers or, even just enough help. In fact, on their non-play action passes, they were 7% higher than their season rate of five-man protections. They've been 83% five-man going into the game. They were 90% in this game. And so it's a blatant failure to adjust, putting your quarterback in a really bad spot. And so it's a goofy game plan. And I think D'Amico Ryans had the right messaging where, yeah, he's surprised.